and today I'm going to do a few rhythm drawings to study the gestures of some of these human forms that I'll be looking at now. So let's start with, this one just made me so happy when I saw it. This guy's just really enjoying himself. I hope he's as happy as he looks. So to get started, I'm going to just look at the shape briefly, and then for his head, start with a circle. And then to keep it as simplified as I can here, kind of look at where his pelvic girdle angle is and look at the angle of his leg and then his other leg. And then maybe get a little bit of the angle of his foot there. And now his shoulders are something like that with the angle of his head and face. And his arms, this nice curve here up into his hand. And then his other arm is at an angle slightly angled away like that, and then the rest is sort of covered in this big baggy coat. And so that would be a pretty simple version of it, and that kind of just captures captures it, encapsulates maybe the rhythm of the picture. And let's do one a little more detail maybe. And so we'll start with the circle for the head and oval for the face, and maybe a little neck shape there, keeping this angle of the body here. This time I'm going to get something of the chest and abdomen shapes there, and look at the hips and so this would be a little more on the complex side, and it's not necessary, but I think it is interesting, and it's fun to look at and study. So you can definitely, like, if I was going to do a very realistic drawing or a painting of this person, I would want to study this form like this many times before I started the bigger, more complete work, because it just going into something cold is much harder than starting it with some understanding. And also it gives you a chance to decide like what you like and don't like, and so that would be on a little more complex side. And maybe one more, and this time we'll just kind of take it a little freely and see what happens. And we'll start the same way with the circle, oval, neck shape, the chest area. I'm just gonna go right up into the hand this time, and this is a little crimped on that side, and I want to accentuate this shape here. There's a little something of John Travolta in this shape. And then some hair or something here, and the eyes are there. Sometimes I like to add some shadows into some of the main regions where like the lighting is going to add something to the rhythm a little bit, something to the form of the gesture. And you know, pretty quickly it starts to get to a phase where you could start like adding in details. You know, when I get this line here for the hand. All right, so you know, one of the fun things about these gesture drawings is, you know, it's been what, 5-6 minutes, and I've got three drawings done. So, you know, if you're practicing at home, you know, each one of these drawings can, you know, surprise you sometimes in terms of how they turn out or how people respond to them. Now let's look at this fellow here. I just loved this pose when I saw it, so had to draw it. I'm going to start here. Let's start on the simple side over here this time, and we'll just put his head right here. Again with a circle for this part of his head. And ooh, I finished my sketchbook. Let's go with the hat here, just to kind of keep it in the picture. And then we'll go his spine, something like that, hips, something like that, legs, something like that, and foot, something like that. I'm going to keep this sort of modified stick figure for this guy. But stick figure is not a great way to think about it, because, you know, sticks implies, I don't know, that they're not really curved, or that there's no, that they're lifeless somehow. It's more of like a, you know, wavy curve and figure. But stick figure is sort of the colloquial term, so. In terms of it being simple, it kind of is, but so yeah, that would be a simple look, and now we'll maybe get a little more complex here, but not too much more. It's, I think, helpful to start with the head again, and he's looking away, so the oval of his face would be kind of angled that direction. The hat angled down, and again with his spinal curve. This time I want to accentuate it a little more. And let's, you know, push this a little bit more even, so like his legs can get pushed farther, that angle can get deeper, this angle here can get sharper, and the shoes can get more vertical there. That's going to make him look like he's doing what he's doing, but just kind of to the max, a little more, maxing it. And that can be, those types of things can be especially useful if you're into cartooning or comic books or things like that, where you want your figure to do epic stuff and have these epic shapes to their gesture, and just looking at whatever your figure is and then kind of maxing it out a little bit to really get that gesture on the page. And then, you know, I might go through and add a little bit of shading. And by the way, I'm just using a soft charcoal pencil, but you could really use anything for this. Really anything that is comfortable for you. Whatever you're using, I do recommend, different people like to hold their pencils a different way, but I definitely recommend this way. I don't hold my pencil like this all the time when I draw, but for these I do like it because it helps you get the long, smooth lines, and it lets you draw with your shoulder rather than like your wrist. And let's just do one more quick one. Pronounce it a little more here, accentuating it. Almost very tiptoes, or like he's all the way off the ground, which he kind of is in the picture, which is an awesome element of this picture. And put the little white lines on his sneakers and start throwing in details at any point. But let's not forget his other arm here. That really helps with the sense of tension and action in the frame. So throw in some shadows here, and you can see how quickly these start to get to a place where if you wanted to, you could, start adding whatever level of detail you wanted. Yeah, that starts to get a little more complex and stuff. And all right, well, I want to keep this one pretty short, but I'm going to do a few more of these short rhythm videos, and I hope to see you in the next one.